The 6th weekly live stream. Pretty sure this is the 156th. Yeah.
Numbers, they're hard.
They're very difficult. Today joining us we have Allie Claw.
Hello.
Fluffy's Eye.
Shh, I have a secret.
Oh, okay. Possibly CPC hidden in the background, drawing fluffy things. And Tadpole.
Me?
Hello.
Yay. Hello.
Hello. Alright, let's get underway. So first up is a picture by CPC. Just, you know, first come, first serve, and all that. If you're
We're
here,
very biased.
yeah, we are. We horrible biased people who are here. They answer questions better. So CPC, you had questions about the second part of this. I like it, but can't figure out how to turn it to the back. So by
I will
that,
say she
Are
did
we-
edit. That definitely fixes some stuff.
Yes, so I'm doing charms, so I want them to be double-sided. So I'm trying to make the back of the character.
Yeah, I have done this the way you're doing it before. It's like flip it around and then correct the overlaps, so to speak. I'm trying to figure out I can't really visually see what's happening here because you've got like the whole back of her head, and so it's throwing my brain off of.
We're looking at this one, right?
yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How to convert front view to back.
but it's not truly back view.
Yeah.
Well, it's the rear view of this angle that we have, like flipped 180.
But it isn't, because all we've done is just flipped it on this.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah, I think, if you flip it on the axis, I think if you do it that and then try and correct it that way, it throws me off just a ton.
Yeah, it is really hard to
I think I would just sooner redraw it from a different angle.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
what
that
I have done
doesn't work,
before.
because I have to do the back. Since it's a charm, they have to perfectly
Yeah,
match.
there is a reason why it's symmetrical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the silhouettes need to match.
Mm. I've done that before with the first badge I made for Galacon. I did my Raccoon OC and my Pony OC, and they had to match the same silhouette. So Spirit Wind had a huge fluffy tail, which he has anyway, so it's cool. But it's a very interesting thing to try and pull off, and then this sort of this scenario here is very specific, so it's very difficult. It's got to be very exact.
you do have a lot of it's not going to be a clear charm, right? You can't see. It's not
I'm
going
not
to be.
sure yet. I haven't decided. I know I want them to be double-sided, but more than that, I haven't really decided.
Is this a back view or a bottom view? Because this original painting we're viewing from the top,
Oh,
top
that makes
front.
sense.
And so this would be kind of viewing from the bottom, right? If it's on the opposite
Yeah,
side.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... My
'Cause you would
brain...
have the legs sort of coming out towards the viewpoint.
So, take her head and put it on the back layer, so to speak. And then
Yeah.
get the legs coming out in front. Looks
That
like there.
explains why I was having so much trouble, because I was looking at the rest of the body and I was thinking I should be changing something, but I can't figure out what.
Yeah.
Oops, I
where's
don't
my
want to erase
pen?
everyone's.
Oh, that's my pen. Oh, that's my pen.
Run away, pen.
So yeah, so it's just about trying to figure out how does the body bend? Why is my pen so small? Which way does this? Why is my pen so big? This is crazy.
You gotta love draw pile.
Gotta love it. And then it's how to convert that to this, and it's like, oh, the legs come out this way, but it's like trying to figure out how. It is a complicated pose to do this with, I will say.
Yeah, I might have to end up changing the pose, but I want to give it a try.
I mean, it's definitely a valiant try, and I do like the pose. It looks really nice as a picture, but I think for the double-sided purposes, there's so much like dynamic perspective going on that like it makes perfect sense and it's perfectly easy to do from this front position. But then like trying to flip this over so that it makes equal amount of sense from a back view, you know,
Oh no,
a bit
I
complicated.
jumped off my tablet by accident.
Oh no.
I keep doing this because the
Boy.
turn off button is so close. Okay, I think I fixed it.
That's what a tough angle.
Yeah.
Drawing from the bottom.
It goes from like a really nice looking pose to like, what on earth is happening? I think part of it is because we've got like the whole head. It's really hard for our eyes to like figure
Yeah.
out.
I could get a... I think I figured out the back legs, but I can't really work on top of the head right now. I would have to erase it.
Like even like wow, like. I don't even know.
CPC is one ambitious mouse.
Alright, CPC, this is what you have to do. You have to 3D model your
Hey.
designs, and then you can just rotate them.
Well, I've made a 3D model before.
There you go. So you got this. You got this.
Another thing, like this isn't super like it doesn't really help this problem. There's something else you could do with like a double-sided charm. Something I saw my friend Cord Awesome, who's actually in the MLP Discord as well. Something she was doing recently is she was making My Hero Academia charms. They're like the little chibi versions of the characters, and like they're just sort of like standing straight forward like chibis, but on like the reverse side they got like a different like expression. So like one's like, oh yeah, like grinning and smirking, and the other side is like, oh, angry Bakugo or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's really cute because you got like the two
Are
different.
you
like,
implying that Bakugo isn't always angry?
There's one of him like looking like really cocky, and another one of him just like floating.
One side's angry, the other side's angrier.
Well, pouty and angry. He has pouty and angry. His two modes.
All right,
But
let's
yeah,
go
that
on.
is an idea. You could draw. You could just like do like a pony, and then like on the other side, it's like in a similar pose, but they have like a different like expression or slightly altered pose within the silhouette. You know.
Yeah,
Okay, that worked
I've
out
had-
really well. Who has the purpley-ish, sort of bluish pen?
It's
CPC.
me.
Okay, yeah, that worked.
It's
That looks
the
really
the
good.
squiggles, it's me. Yeah, I just can't work on the front legs with all the scribbles
Yeah.
over there. but
Yeah.
I'll have the file with this layer so I can just hide it.
Yeah.
I think
Doing
the
these-
main brain buster was solved that it's not reversed, but top and bottom view.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch to the next picture then.
Alright.
Beep. So this one is by Bizzle. My progress over a week's time. Need critique and tips. First of all, awesome job drawing every day.
I
it
have
looks
two
like.
things to say. I feel like great work on the legs. Also, I really like that you've clearly tried to. Where's my pen? Tried to do like a perspective grid, like point of depth of field, that kind of thing. That is something that we tell people to do all the time. So like, well done with that. I feel like though, looking at like where the legs are, I can't even draw a square on this program properly. I swear to God. But I feel like this leg here should like come down a little more. But I don't know. I find this leg at the back is what I always struggle with so much.
Mhm.
Like it's so hard to not look completely awkward. I don't know why. No, I'm drawing on the wrong layer.
Layer 2's fine.
I think I was on the foreground.
No, you're layer 2.
Well, I had the eraser and I was like, erase this, and then it was like erasing the drawing too.
Maybe the drawing's on layer 2.
No, my lines are on layer 2. Why is the eraser tool making it what? draw pile. I don't understand what's happening. It says it's got like the eraser tool, and it's like invisible. Oh my god. Now it's working, I think. Okay, this program is so weird.
No, you're fine.
Okay, moving on.
Hi,
Do you
Jazz.
have
Well,
any like specific questions about the anatomy?
no, that's all there.
I have some thoughts on the nose, muzzle region area.
I mean,
What
right
it
in this
looks
face is scary.
like is with the muzzle, I think the way that it helped me the most to visualize it is kind of like a rounded cube almost, kind of sticking out. So, you know, if you were to draw a cube in, you know, janky perspective, and then you were to kind of, I mean, obviously this is very boxy, but then you were to add the nostrils on the corners and then the mouth. Eventually, if you were to connect that to the head and then connect it further down, and then you would get like a mouth, and you get kind of that kind of a thing, and it ends up looking more horse-like than I think what you've got going on right now. Yeah. Shapes. I mean, you've got this perspective grid going on here right now, which is awesome, and it is definitely a thing. It is legit and cool, and keep doing that. Absolutely. I'll stop talking.
No, you're fine. No, I completely agree. I know we've all talked about box muzzle and utilizing our simple shapes to really bring out an image. And I think something that'll help you, it feels like you're using the grids, but you don't quite know how you're using them.
Yeah.
Where you're
That's
still
what I was
drawing in 2D, and when you use a grid, it's really helpful to think in 3D, because the whole point of the grid is to help us picture in 3D. So instead of just getting those, 2D shapes, maybe going in there and really getting like a cylinder for the legs, and working out balls for the bodies, and just kind of giving those cross sections so we can see the appeal of 3D, because that's what the grid's there to help you do, is to discover that 3D space.
Mm-hmm. Like even
Oops,
just
my finger slipped and it's dopey.
Of course.
It's a lot of slipping there.
I was just like going over the body. I was like, oh, let's add like a tail shape, just sort of fine where that's going to be, just for visualization's sake. Then I was like, okay, I need a mane. I'll just go for like the standard like recolor pony mane. And I was like, well, this is pretty close to like being Derpy's mane. I'm just gonna go for it. Anyway, just sort of like cleaning up some of the anatomy. Something I will say. Work bigger. You are on a tiny, you're on like a piece of paper, and you're drawing like tiny on this piece of paper. Zooming in to like draw, I find myself being like, okay, I'm gonna like draw over this, and I feel like I have no room to actually do like a drawing to like work on this, because it's just like so tiny. I mean, there is definitely like benefits and drawbacks between working big and working small. I see a lot of people start off drawing, and like, okay, I'm gonna start drawing. Their face is like this, like yeah, hi, and then like their hair is like that, because like they don't have the entire workspace to get like the proportions correct. But like working small, you basically are limiting yourself in detail a lot, which is fine when like especially because you're starting out. It's like you're limiting that detail and just getting the broad shapes down is really good. But like, you can go a little bit bigger. You've got so much space. You could get all this space. Sorry, CP. Oh, Ali got all this space. not being used, you could like enlarge them a little bit, because as long as you're getting them all on the page, then you're still good. You get like the whole proportions, but you can allow yourself a little bit more room for detail. If I'm gonna draw like a head down here, just like a little piece of a head, I have so much more room to work with. I have some little nostrils. There we go, and we can like really define. Oops, pen is weird. We can really like have more room to work with what we're trying to do with like expressions and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to
Details.
that, yeah, when you're working small, every stroke matters
Yeah,
so much.
a single dot can like destroy the entire thing.
Yeah, so it gives you just a lot more wiggle room when you're working big.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good point. Because a single line or point in the right place can change an entire picture anyway. But like only when you're being very specific. But when you're working really small like this, like you say, like something being even like a slight like a grain off in the paper can like change how something looks, and it can be very frustrating because you're not really at the level which you have that kind of precision yet. So it's like you don't really want to have that drawback.
All right, let's move on to the next one then.
There's the next one.
There is a next one.
Hey.
And I quick have one other thing.
Is
I
it
didn't
these
realize my
adorable things on the bottom of the canvas? Because they are.
Whoop.
I just saw them down
see
there.
at it again.
So fluffy and soft. Oh my gosh.
Oh, hello.
So this one comes from our chat, and it is Jazzwolf.
I'm
They're
gonna switch to
wondering
orange.
about the mane and the horn.
The horn I think could stand to be like bigger. The Kieran's sort of have this quite grandiose horn. It definitely behoove you to give that some emphasis rather than play it down. And yes, I said behoove. Puns ahoy.
Oh, here we are.
Banned.
I'm just gonna
And I think
fluff this roof.
Maze mentioned that something about the manes making it flat, and I believe that's coming from the streaks. The trying to get in that like finely detailed hair by using streaks tends to make it very flat, because when you look at hair, you can't see a streak start to finish, you know? You see it in clumps, you see it how it flows. It really comes together as a whole instead of the individual strands. So while there could be a character that has maybe alternating colors, like very thin color alterations, you have to take that kind of in groups rather than each volume. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and my couple of thoughts with the hair is twofold. One is along the same lines of what Ali was saying, don't draw the whole hair. So yeah, not the whole hair, but in essence, how to explain this? Using shade indicate the hair through the shading. So like, say for instance, if you've got your light source coming from above, which looks like it is, then you would indicate with better color. You would indicate, I do it scribbles, but that's just a stylistic, but you're essentially like indicating the hair with the shading, and it gives it that kind of hair-like sheen. It's called anisotropic shading in the 3D world, but that means nothing.
This is a
That's so
fancy
good to
word.
know.
Yeah. And so, and that the same goes for on the bottom, darkening. I'm doing it with scribbles, but you're essentially indicating the hair with the shading, and you're not drawing the whole strand of hair. Just a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, you can even go as far as taking it back to basic shapes and kind of chunking that hair. Maybe like figuring like, oh, there's a trapezoid that's weirdly shaped here, and I can divide it. Like, if you look at Twilight's hair, her hair is very flat, right? It's just that like single sort of flag coming out of her butt. But we can look at that shape, and we can turn
Such
it.
graceful terminology.
And we can suddenly make that hair have some volume by giving it. Oh, let me get that little notch in there because she's more notch.
Just like an exclamation point.
Yeah.
If you look at the bottom.
And we don't have to. Hair is loose and it's not usually chunky and solid, but we can use these simple shapes to help us. And then from there, we have an idea like, okay, there's gonna be a surface area where like, oh, I got this nice bright light that's gonna hit up here, but it's gonna get a lot darker, maybe down in this area and along the bottom, the base here, and maybe it's gonna be a little darker here. We have something to work with instead of just like, the amorphous blob that is hair that can be anything in any direction depending on the wind and the water and the yada yada yada. So, like we talked about in the last image, breaking things down into simple shapes to build that volume. Nothing wrong with that because it's just your base. It's what you're starting with. It's not your final product. It's there to help you, to guide you.
To guide you.
I don't know.
Got
And
any
most of
further
those
questions?
fluff scribbles were just like silly doodles, but it is worth noting that the only one that was serious is these, because if it's a character choice to not have like the back fluff parts on the leg, fine, but like the Kirin, just like as a design thing, do have fluff parts there. That's just something worth noting. Like if that was just a choice, like, okay, this character doesn't have that, fine, that's fine. Just something I wanted to point out. Otherwise, I just like went over the face. So I lifted the nose a little bit, so it's now sort of like pointing at more of an angle that I think the face is going at. Give her some weight to the cheek, and sort of kept. I noticed you had a bit of chin, like a nice sort of defined chin, so I kept that. But just let that cheek like come out and then flow into the face there, and then that flows up the jaw, and there you go. And then the same for the eyes. So just sort of straighten them a little bit. I always like with closed eyes, I like to give them sort of like elegant, like you got like a little bit of the corner there. So I think looks very nice. Actually, so sort of that. You got very nice, very calm expressions. It looks very good, and it's all about sort of accentuating that, making it look soft and calm. You got like the temple here. You got like the eye socket, and you got the cheek. Like the face has shape to it, and you've clearly made a good attempt at trying to show that. So yeah, I was just scribbling over it to sort of help you along with it. That's all from me, though.
Oh, one last thought with the hair. I didn't actually explain why I put the highlights essentially so say you've got a strand of hair like that, and it's like wavy, and you've got a light source going like that. You're going to want the highlights are going to be in the spots that are essentially perpendicular, quote unquote, to the light source. So if it's going like that, right there, and right there, and right there, just a little bit. Those are the parts that are going to get the highlight on the hair. And then, darker stuff is going to go the parts that are angled further approaching perpendicular. Parallel. Throwing around a lot of words here. Anyways, that is anisotropic shading in a nutshell.
Nice.
All right. Anyone else have any pictures they'd like critiqued? Any other questions they'd like to ask?
Who were these cute little things down at the bottom of the page?
Cute pencil case.
Oh, okay.
Mysterious.
To draw adorable things on the camera.
It reminds me of it was an Ask blog that died a while ago. What was it? Sleep Deprived Luna, or Luna After Dark. That's what it was called. And it was,
Somebody-
Yes,
I have a
sometimes
question
those
regarding Kirin.
show up.
Does
I
Kirin's can
don't
be
know where
cutie
they
mark?
came from.
So
Yeah,
you
Kirin
broke
can,
up that entire conversation. Didn't hear you.
Kirin can have cutie mark.
yes?
I was just being silly and doodling on.
All right. Well, if there's no other further questions, then that'll be this week. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.